Hi guys, Barbara here, your English confidence coach, and today I'm going to help you to be successful at any job application. So when I say job application, I mean not only interviews, but the preparation for the interview as well as any interaction you have with a potential employer before the actual interview. Now, before we get started, have you subscribed yet? Liked, shared it with your friends? Please, so if you know of anyone who would benefit from watching this video, make sure you let them know. I create this content for you and I try to find content that is going to be super helpful and useful and meaningful to you, because that's what real English is about. It's not about teaching little words here and there. It's about helping people in real life situations such as job interviews, right? I guess nobody really likes to do job interviews. So one very important thing you need to remember is there's never going to be a time where you'll do a job interview and feel comfortable about it. I like to say that job interviews and being pulled over by the police are two situations that no one is ever going to be like, oh great, I just got pulled over by the cops, or oh amazing, I have a job interview to do. These situations, by their very own nature, are nerve-wracking situations. Nobody gets stopped by the police and thinks, oh my God, amazing. Even if you haven't done anything, you'll still feel a bit insecure, right? We all do. I mean, if you don't, then you're an exception to the rule. Same thing with job interviews, regardless of it being in our first language or in a second language, it's still a very nerve-wracking situation. So it's completely normal to feel nervous, okay? Gotta understand that. I don't think that anyone will ever feel comfortable doing a job interview unless you don't really care about that job. Okay, but if you do really care about it, then you probably will feel a bit uncomfortable when doing this. And that's fine, Growth happens outside of the comfort zone anyway. So when you feel uncomfortable, that means we're growing. So in saying that, I'm going to give you guys some do's and don't tips for a successful job interview, okay? Or application, as I said before. It's not all about interviews, it's about the application process in general. First one, something that you should not do. Do not sound desperate, okay? Potential employers can smell desperation. If you sound like they're doing you a favor, that's probably a not very good thing, because you need to have a little bit of confidence in yourself that you are the right person for that position and that you genuinely have something to contribute to that company, okay? So don't use words like, oh, I would love an opportunity, or please give me this opportunity, I beg you for this chance. Okay? Think to yourself of all the achievements you have had in your professional life in the past, because reality is most immigrants, most non-native speakers move to an English-speaking country with lots of qualifications, right? Super well qualified, college degree, MBAs, post-graduation, some even PhDs, okay? So I know from experience that most of my friends are really well qualified when it comes to their careers, to their profession. So think of all the achievements and the good things you have done as a professional so far. Just remind yourself of those things, because they will bring you the confidence you need to come from a place that this is going to be a mutually beneficial relationship. You are going to get a job that's going to give you good things, and in turn, that company is going to have an amazing employee who will also contribute with the knowledge to the company, okay? So remember, this is a mutually beneficial relationship. You'll be giving them your knowledge and your experience, and they'll be giving you financial remuneration and other things that you feel by getting a job that you really, really want. Now, another no. Don't try to be someone you're not, okay? Back in the days, job interviews and job applications were a very formal thing, where people try to use lots of fancy, complicated words and sound really like fancy, Fancy means not complicated, but sophisticated, right? So fancy means sophisticated. And nowadays, I think people look for more authenticity, like someone that shows who they really are. And of course, there's a balance between using slangs and curse words and, sounding like you're talking to your brother or sister, and being authentic and showing up as a professional, but as someone true to yourself that shows your real personality. Because remember, the downside of trying to be someone else or trying to be too formal is that if you do get hired, they're gonna see who you truly are, right? So if you show up as someone very different, then that person that you showed up as might not be the person the company was looking for, right? They might want that person that you tried to be during the application. So be yourself. I think more and more people are looking for professional satisfaction and fulfillment and really feeling content at work. So I hope that's what you're looking for as well, because when we look for jobs for money exclusively, that's not a very good place to start to look for positions, okay? And that way you're going to find a job that is aligned with who you are, and the chances of you being happy at that job are going to increase exponentially, all right? Another thing, please, even if English is your second language, which if you're watching this video probably is, right? Do not say that. Don't put that in your resume, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. If you're applying for a position in English, that means that you speak English, right? Because if you couldn't speak English, you wouldn't be applying for that position. Does that make sense? So it is common knowledge that you speak English. By you pointing out that that your English is advanced or upper intermediate or whatever level it is that you classify your English, people always think that you're already exaggerating a little bit on a job application. So if you say that your English is advanced, they will think it's upper intermediate or intermediate, but that's not good enough. Okay, so it goes without saying that if you're applying for a position in English, that's because you speak English. So get the attention off of that, okay, and just focus on highlighting what you're good at. So please do not put on your resume, oh, I am Brazilian, or I am Spanish, or I am Japanese, and my English is advanced. Those are things that you do not need to put on your resume, okay? You do not want to bring any kind of focus to your nationality, to your age, or to your visa situation. Also, do not put your visa on resumes, okay? You're ruining your chances right there, because they don't even know how good you are, and they won't even consider perhaps giving you a sponsorship or, that kind of stuff. If you put straight away that your visa, it's probably not the best for them to hire you. So leave that information out. That's something to be discussed later on once you have passed a few stages of the job application process, okay? So I don't recommend those things in your resume. So do not put anything about your English. You are a fluent speaker, that goes without saying, so get the attention off your English, okay? And one more thing, if by any chance you do not get that job, do not feel discouraged, okay? That's part, sometimes we need to go through a few interviews as a kind of practice to do well in that job that we really, really want, okay? So don't let rejection really get to you and affect your confidence. There's lots of people applying for jobs as well, and just because you didn't get one or two, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna get any, okay? So keep applying, keep positive, always reminding yourself of how good you are, and always trying to extract a lesson, okay? Always trying to think back, okay, what could I have done better? Or where did things start going wrong? Because if you were a good person's reader, like I am, you'll be able to see when that person changed the way they were looking at you, or the kind of questions they were asking, or they kind of lost interest and things started going on a different direction. I can see those things, or at least I learned how to see those things. So once you get rejected at one interview, two interviews, then maybe you should be looking into where it's going wrong, okay? So analyze that, learn from that experience, and let's keep moving forward, all right? Now, in saying that, let's talk a little bit about questions and how we can answer those questions. So the critical question, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Oh my God, who likes that question? I don't think anyone likes to be asked that question, right? Because what are we supposed to say? I like to travel and drink and party and I don't like to work, right? That's what I think most people would say in reality. That's what we're all thinking. I really, really want to win the lottery and go traveling the world, but that's probably not what they want to hear. So the things you can say are, talk about your hobbies that will make you grow as a human being. So always think of the hobbies or the activities that will bring you growth, such as reading, sports, running, gardening, surfing. Surfing goes into sports as well, which I already mentioned. But think of activities that will make you grow as a person. Charity, hanging out with your family, it's a good thing to say as well. Now, another thing to be careful is social media, okay? If you have lots of party photos on social media, you have two options. One of them is to delete your pictures, or the second one is to have your profiles set as private, okay? Because you do not want a potential employee seeing pictures of you drinking and getting crazy. Even if it's on weekends, they won't know when the picture was taken. And nowadays they do look. Don't think they will only look on LinkedIn. They will go onto your other platforms, okay, to have a look. So you never know, better be on the safe side. When I started teaching at the university I used to teach, I remember, I think in my first year, that was 2013, I started having friends adding me up on Facebook, and that's when I said, no more bikini pictures, because I travel a lot to beach destinations, but I realized that it was probably not appropriate for me to be seen in a bikini in front of my students. So there you go, okay? Be careful with your socials, because that could ruin a good opportunity for you. Let's see what else. I've got some notes here, as someone who is trying to get better at YouTube videos, I still need to read my notes. I personally do not use scripts because I think that they make me sound unnatural. So I just read my notes and then I elaborate on it, okay? Weaknesses and strengths. So what do you say when people ask you, what are your weaknesses? So a good way to address that would be, I am working on, for example, I'm working on delegating better, or I'm working on breaking tasks down onto steps, right? So if you have to explain a procedure, it's important that you are very clear with your instructions. So that would be something. Or I am working on training staff. So you could say that your weaknesses, you could always say that you're working on them or that you need improvement. So I would really like to improve my time management skills, or my ability to say no to people. I'm not very good at saying no. So you can also say I'm not very good at this. And when it comes to your strengths, you can say things like, I have great organizational skills, or I consider myself excellent at time management. So the right preposition is always at. When we talk about things that you're good, bad, great, amazing, not so good, we always use at, okay? Always. So remember, I am great at finding solutions, or I am amazing at team management, okay? Whatever it is that you do, I always kind of think about things related to teaching, because that's what I do. For example, I would say, as a teacher, I would say, I am great at teaching pronunciation, for example, okay? Remember that. So I'm working on things, or I need improvement in this area, or I'm great at, good at, amazing at, consider myself amazing at, okay? I consider myself sounds a little bit more humble. It doesn't sound so like so entitled as I am great at, okay? Now, another question that's quite often asked, why are you the best candidate for this position? And we gotta be very careful to sound confident but not arrogant with this question, right? So first, some things you could say is, I am very passionate about this position or this job. Like, I am absolutely passionate about teaching. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's practice the pronunciation of absolutely. I am absolutely passionate. That's two big words to pronounce together, but they're very powerful during a job interview. So if you want to use them, make sure you practice before and you can pronounce them correctly. So absolutely passionate about teaching, reading, social media, whatever it is that you are passionate about. I really believe in making a difference in people's lives, or making a difference in people's English. Or you could also say, I feel really aligned with the company's mission, or I feel really aligned with the company's values. But make sure you actually know the company's mission and values, and we're going to get to that in a second, okay? So if you do use things like, I feel aligned with the company's ethos, mission, values, you need to know what they are, okay? Just in case they ask you. These are some of the things you can say when they ask you why you are the best candidate for that position. Now, when they ask you, what are your biggest professional achievements? So what are your biggest accomplishments or achievements are very similar and they can be used in kind of the same way in sentences. So for example, you can talk about your customer service skills. You know, if you have won any awards at work, you can definitely bring that up. I have won Best Sales Rep of the Year, won Best Customer Service Award. Obviously, you should bring that up. Now, if you haven't won any awards, you can always use things like, I have cut the company's cost by 10%, or I have saved us time by developing a new communication system, or I have made internal communication more efficient by creating a Facebook group or an email group. Whatever it is that you did that can be seen as something that helped the company to be more efficient or to function better, okay? If you get promoted or if you got promoted in the past, definitely mention that. That will definitely help you. So mention that as well. And for example, I could say something, I had a rate of 98% pass for my intermediate students, or 19% of my intermediate students were successful in going to the next level. Something like that, okay? So you can say the same thing in more than one way. And, you know, I like to sound natural, so sometimes I will even rephrase what I am saying during the interview if I think it's gonna sound better. Now, some things for you to keep in mind as well. Research about the company beforehand. Nowadays, it's so important you do that and you show that you do that. It's so easy to go and look at a company's website. Most companies will have their mission statement there, that you know what their mission is, which is to either serve customers better or be the best at what they do or provide sustainable options to a different kind of service. Okay, for example, surfboards, if they are surfboards manufacturers, their mission would be to create surfboards that are sustainable and environmentally sustainable or recyclable, whatever it is, you know. So make sure you know that. And when you mention that during your conversation. Also, nowadays, it is very important that you ask questions during an interview. I personally did not know that. I found that out through some HR experts, international and domestic here in Australia, HR recruiters that came to participate in my coaching program. So they came to talk to my students, and they both said that asking questions is really important because it shows that you have researched about the company, that you really care about it. Now, what kind of questions should you ask? I guess that asking about holidays is probably not a very good option. So I'll give you some examples. So you could ask, for example, do you support any causes, right? As in, do they support an environmental institution or non-for-profit organization, or domestic violence organization, or premature babies organization? Do they help any kind of non-for-profit organization? Are they engaged in any kind of non-financial work? That's a really good question. Also, what's their position regarding customer service? How much do they appreciate their customers being served well and being given attention to? So those are the kind of questions you can ask. You can also ask, what are your chances of being promoted? What's the policy if they usually promote internal staff or if they usually advertise the positions externally? That's a really good question as well. Again, it's very important that you prepare and give your job interview, your job application process a bit of thought if that position really means something to you. If you really, really want it, the more time you dedicate researching about the company and putting down your professional qualifications, the better you will do. And English is going to be in the background. So remember, I think another really important point is, I'm trying to wrap this video up, but I just keep coming up with things that I know are very important, is to remember that you do not have this job, okay? So don't think about it like your life depends on it, because you do not have this job right now. So if you don't get it, you will still be in the same place as you are right now, okay? If you do get it, it will be amazing. You'll be in a much better place. Now, if you don't get this one, just keep focused and do not let negativity take over, because that is definitely going to harm you when it comes to applying for new jobs. That's definitely not going to be a very good thing for you if you start being too negative. Okay, so keep your positivity, meditate, think of all the good things, all the achievements you have had in the past, and think that the right job is just around the corner coming your way. It has happened to me before. I was let go of a school I taught for about 6 months without any explanation. They didn't really tell me why they weren't giving. So I think I applied for the job with another casual teacher, and I think she got the job and I didn't, and I was devastated. I had been there a bit longer than her. I was really upset, and I tried to find out why, and the director wouldn't really tell me the real reason. He just kind of said, oh, you know, she was better suited for the position and blah blah blah, and you know, didn't give me a real good explanation. 2 months later, I got called to be interviewed at the university that I taught for 8 years. So in that university was better pay, much better work experience. It was much better for my curriculum as a teacher as well. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. Stay confident and positive and believe in yourself, okay? Because if you don't, nobody else will. But I do. I believe in yourself, and you better do too. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that was useful to you. Please leave a message in the comments if you have any suggestions for new videos. I would love that, okay? Talk soon. Bye.